Filmmaker, professional wrestler, mortician. Those are the things that describe the guest that I have today. His name, Wade Simmons, a trainee of Chicago-style wrestling who takes pride in filmmaking, specifically in the realm of professional wrestling. This is Beyond the Wrestling Gear. Let's go.
Welcome, you all. How's it going today? Today we're actually launching the very first episode of the Beyond the Wrestling Gears podcast. And today I have Wade Simmons, who's a professional wrestler who was trained by Steve Bowes, and he also works in a funeral home outside of the Squared Circle. So welcome, Wade.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, brother. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Just been, laying low, working on a few projects, and I'm actually doing a documentary about me training for pro wrestling.
Oh, that's awesome, brother. So to get started with that, I know we kind of briefly touched on it, but you have been you've been starting to train over in Chicago, right?
Yep, Chicago style wrestling. Did 2 years with them.
Awesome. What was your experience like being there?
It was pretty cool. It was a little bit unexpected though because when I originally went to it, I was actually going to make a documentary about pro wrestling because I know like Steve Boz in Chicago, he trained like a lot of the up and coming wrestlers. So when I reached out to him, he invited me to the school. I know we had previous conversations about me wrestling in high school and stuff. And so when I went, I was, I got a chance to meet some of the wrestlers. And I was, talking to Boz about starting my documentary. He said, "When you gonna start training?" And so I'm like, "Next week." And so me and my friend Jalen, we just went on and started training from there. So it was kind of
Oh,
like unexpected.
that's awesome. I bet it was a surreal experience to be stepping in an actual ring, knowing that you've probably watched the product, or you probably watched the product since you were a kid, right?
Yeah, it was like really unexpected because like I know when I went, we got a chance to meet some of the wrestlers. Like I met Sky Blue, I met Axel Rico, who's a up and coming wrestler, and we got a chance to train with a few other people. But for the fun part about it, like I got a chance to like make a lot of friends and stuff, like Levi and my friend John. So it's like it was like a really kind of cool experience because it's like I know I grew up watching it, but to actually see what some of the people that like we grew up watching went through, it was a kind of a like really cool journey because like a lot of people may not know, but like like because like back then we had like WWE, WCW, and a lot of
Yeah.
times if you wasn't going to like the house shows, you didn't see certain people until they made it up to TV sometimes, unless you went to like the indies shows, and so like kind of being somebody that like had the chance to actually train on the indie side, it's pretty cool.
I, I bet one of the things that I'm always told about when you step in the ring is that it's a lot tougher to train in a ring versus when you're training for any other sports, because you're really exerting energy in a ring, especially when you're taking those bumps. I've heard those bumps are nasty and they feel really hard in your body.
Yeah, it was really kind of like cool because like I said, like a lot of people don't realize that like you have to you do have to work out. You do have to be willing to take bumps, and you actually do have to know how to you have to pretty much learn the craft, because wrestling is fun. It's like a dance, but at the same time, it's like, you definitely want to be smart and safe to work with. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it's all about safety and communication. Communicating with your
Hmm.
opponent, communicating with who you're working with, because that's how a match can go smoothly, is if you communicate.
Yeah.
Communication is key.
Yeah, it
Most
was
people think,
really.
oh, we'll just step in a ring and do whatever, not realizing that are susceptible to get hurt if you don't talk.
Yeah. Well, because I went into it actually wrestling for real in high school. So, like, but when I actually started training, it's like, you can use some of it, but it's kind of two different things in a sense because, like, yeah, some of the fundamentals are the same, but there are some differences. So it's like, I went into it like, well, I wrestled in high school and I got this, but it was like a kind of a whole foreign thing.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But you seem like you really grasp the concept and you actually enjoy it. Being there. And let's go back to the film. So, what kind of film were you trying to produce with involving wrestling?
So basically I went to mortuary school and film school. So like right after I got out of film school, like I started inquiring about like doing a documentary on pro wrestling because I love being like a documentarian. Like I do make narrative films too, but I'm trying to be more focused like on documentaries because I think those types of films are so much cooler. I think they're more, transparent, more real, and I think that you can find them more relatable. So like I'm like, doing a documentary about professional wrestling would be really cool. So that's what made me reach out to Steve Boz. And I just thought it would be pretty cool, like to just cover like the indie scene and just kind of what people go through on their journey. Because again, like a lot of times back when I was a kid, like I said, if you didn't go to the house shows or you didn't really follow the indies, you would see like wrestlers and you'd be
Right.
like, oh, there's a new wrestler. But a lot of times, the new guy that you're seeing on TV, he may be new to the television side, but he's been wrestling maybe for 5 or 10 years sometimes. So
Right.
it's kind of an interesting thing.
Right on. It's one of those things. Going to River City, I've met a couple of indie wrestlers. I got them on my the other podcast. I got to interview them, and um, it's pretty cool because I get to document their journey from the indies to eventually to if they step into like AEW, New Japan, WWE. So and what people need to realize is if you have a favorite wrestler and they're beginning in the indies, support them from the beginning.
Yeah,
Because
and I think
they'll
that's
notice you. They'll notice you, and they'll say,
yeah,
this guy's real supportive. This guy's not a pushover. This guy's really kind. That's one of the things I learned while at River City is everybody that's a wrestler, we're still human. Everybody's
yeah,
human. Everybody's got lives.
that's
Most people
true.
think, oh, they're a wrestler, so they're a superstar. But everybody has their situations. Everybody has their
Yeah,
struggles.
and yeah, and I think one of the things that people have to realize, like all of us are only people, so it's like yeah, you may be out doing some great things, but you never know what people go through to get to where they are because, like I said, I know a lot of people who you have to really make time for it. For me, it was like when I pursued it, it wasn't more like I was trying to like, become the biggest one in the room. It's like for me, it was more of a hobby, right? Because
Right.
I'm a filmmaker. I do funerals. And so I was already kind of like pretty much on a tight schedule. So like for me, wrestling was more of an outlet. But there are some people who like that are still doing it like right now and like, really coming up like Bombshell Shelly. I remember she started with us and now she's traveling the globe doing some big things. Like I said, my friend Levi, he's still doing pretty good. So it was a
That's
journey,
awesome.
trust me. It was a journey.
Yeah, yeah, and it's great that you're a filmmaker because they can reach out to you. Your friends Sky Blue and Bombshell Shelly could say, hey, I need some content to be produced or to be shot for a certain promo, and they could say, you know what, I'm gonna contact Wade because he's a good guy and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, like I said, you meet a lot of cool people. And like I said, just to be able to see like, people up and coming because like I know like one of the young ladies that wrestled uh Heather Reckless, she I remember like a lot of the shows that I would go to because like a lot of time I would get to the shows kind of late because I was working at the funeral home, so I would have to leave the funeral home like I would have to work, then I had to go to the show pretty late. So what I would do is like after the shows, I would help break down the rings and stuff. But for the main part, like Heather just got signed to TNA, and I thought it was pretty cool because it's like wow, I would see her at CSW all the time and stuff. So it's just kind of cool to see people when they get promoted. You know, I think it's a
Yeah,
beautiful thing.
yeah, it's great knowing that you were instrumental in their journey. You were helpful and you were there. So
Well, I think if anything, they've been more instrumental in mine. You know, to be honest with you, because like I said, they've really been at it and doing it, and traveling from state to state, and like I said, me, I just kind of stayed more locally because I'm kind of got my hands in many different things, but it's just kind of nice to see people really having fun, and being able to have the connection is just really cool.
a man of many trades. That's what you are. So speaking about the funeral home job position that you have, I noticed that when you sent me the picture of you with the urn, it really reminded me of Paul Bear. Was that part of your gimmick?
Yeah, well, you know what? I honestly, when I first started training, I was like, you know what? And I know how the world is, right? Like, I'm like, it's only one legendary Undertaker, one legendary Paul Bear. So it's like, if I come into wrestling with a new Mortician gimmick, they're gonna be like, this guy trying to be like the Undertaker. But no, like real talk, I've been doing funerals for 14 years, and for me, I wasn't, really thinking about doing that gimmick, but we did talk about it. If I would have like, go a little further into it, then that would probably be one of the gimmicks to consider. But when you're a wrestler, you gotta have a lot of gimmicks because a lot of times the
Right,
one that you think may hit may not be the one that gets you over. You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, I mean, you have to change it up, especially because generations change. The times change. You know, some stuff
Yeah.
might not fit for this generation, and some do. Like a lot of the edgy stuff that we used to watch in the Attitude Era, it's kind of watered down a little bit since then.
Yeah, and
Everybody's
that's
kind of
the
doing it
thing,
now.
right? Like and that's the part of pro wrestling that I really enjoy because right, you get to be creative and like it is an art too. And so I think that because wrestling is storytelling. So to me it's like, I just became more focused on, trying to be creative and just, have fun with it, but also do something that I was more comfortable with. Like I said, I didn't want to do something that been done before.
Dude, you just made me think about the. Have you heard of the Soul Taker before? Uh, have you heard of the Soul Taker before? Yeah, he's actually an indie wrestler right now, and he's basically, I wouldn't say a ripoff of the Undertaker, but his gimmick is kind of like that, and that just reminded me, like, I could envision you with him and doing like a whole like this generation's Undertaker and Paul Bear. Oh yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I could see you doing that. Do something different. Yeah, I would have been really cool to see something like that. Make everybody look like what's this guy? Managing a Latino wrestler. Out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean, it's all about just work on it till you find something that sticks. So- oh yeah. I mean, that's all you got to do. Just keep at it, keep working on it, and if you find something that you like, stick with it until you gain some sort of reaction. You know that is. Oh yeah, and if you're open enough to listen to the fans, that helps too. Ooh, that's a great question. Um, I could tell you my Mount Rushmore. So we're talking about let's see. My first one would be Austin, then Triple H, then The Undertaker. After that, it would be we're talking current, so it would be AJ Styles, and then Kenny Omega. Oh, nice, yeah. Hey, hey, everybody was so indifferent about Roman before he left after losing the belt because everybody's like, we don't want Roman, and now everybody's like crazy about Roman. But that's the thing that you said about crowd reaction, what the crowd wants, and then the crowd was like, Roman left, he kind of simmered down, and the crowd's like, man, we miss Roman, we want Roman, and he's gotten this. Mhm. Yeah, coming in. Mhm. Yeah, it's a great thing when you can get family involved in something you enjoy too, you know, and it keeps growing and growing. Now, speaking about Mount Rushmore and wrestlers and things like that, for you, if if you were to still stick around, if you were to stick around in the wrestling business, who would your dream opponent be if you were to have a match? Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see, that Lesnar has another side to him versus, the rough and tough, like I remember the one part that really got everybody talking was when he had that segment with Heath Slater, and Heath Slater's like, I got kids. He's like, I don't give a shit about your kids. And he's like, I'm like, whoa, like you didn't expect that to happen, but it did. It got a crowd reaction. That's what he was hoping for. Mhm. Yeah, it's all about having fun and really enjoying yourself at the end of the day, and putting differences aside, whether you like that person or not, you're in there for one thing and one thing only. It's to entertain the fans. Did you know that he actually broke his neck like in the mid '90s, and he wrestled through it with a broken neck and he didn't know about it? Yeah, that was crazy. But I'm like, he must have been through some he must have taken some good what is it, the hydrochloroquine shots or something. They put the Novocaine shots on the neck. Where I know Angle had something done when he used to wrestle in the Olympics. He was in the finals for the gold medal, and I don't know if you watched his documentary, but he said he had like six shots put on his neck to where he didn't feel any pain. So he wrestled through it with a. That's why he wrestled a broken neck, because he had a medication or something put on his neck, and he didn't feel any pain, which is crazy. AEW right now, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, Swerve had such a short title reign. He should have kept the belt longer, but they took off the belt off of him too soon. And Joe's another one. Yeah, Samoa Joe. Yeah, he's doing some good things. Yeah, I mean the thing is, now in today's generation, we should be having fun. Everybody from any if you're a fan, whether you're a fan of New Japan, whether you're a fan of WWE, TNA, AEW, we need to come together as wrestling fans and just enjoy the moment, enjoy this era of wrestling. This is like the golden age right now, the Renaissance. You know? Yeah. Right, right. And that's one thing that that's one thing that AEW is kind of facing is that overbloated roster with with three shows. You have Dynamite, you have Collision, and you have Rampage, which I've heard rumors, and I don't know if this is true, but Rampage might get canceled. Mhm. Yes, I definitely. Well, wait, if you were to leave everybody with one piece of advice or a couple or a few words, what would that be for someone that's looking to start in the wrestling business or filmmaking? That is awesome, man. I really enjoyed our conversation. And like you mentioned, wrestling is essentially storytelling, and you're capturing that story on film, doing what you love to do. Well, thank you, Wade, for being a part of this podcast. And can you share with us where can we find any of your works, or any information about you? All right, my friend. Thank you so much for this episode. And if you guys want to catch this episode, go on YouTube, Spotify, or any other major podcasting outlet out there. And once again, thank you, Wade. Definitely. And you guys remember we're not just talking wrestling. We're going beyond the wrestling gear. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Be safe. Oh yeah, it was. It was, man. I enjoyed it.
Filmmaker, professional wrestler, mortician. Those are the things that describe the guest that I have today. His name, Wade Simmons, a trainee of Chicago-style wrestling who takes pride in filmmaking, specifically in the realm of professional wrestling. This is Beyond the Wrestling Gear. Let's go.